Hello, and welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I'm your host, Karen Yankovich, and today's topic is an interesting one for me, and one that I really wanted to talk about because it's a little niche. We're really focusing on our real estate agent friends here, but if you know a real estate agent, or if you are interested in how to position yourself as an expert, you're going to want to hear this either way. If you're a real estate agent, or if you're not here in the US, you've probably heard about the massive shift that's happened in the real estate market with the need now to create a contract for buyer's agents. And, no longer can you just kind of walk into an open house and anonymously and walk out. You really have to make a choice now. When you're looking to when you're looking to buy a house, or even if you're just considering buying a house, you now have to sign a contract with a buyer's agent. And I want to just say, if that's not exactly true, just know I'm not an expert in the law itself. Okay, this is not about the law itself. This is not about any of that, right? You follow what your broker does, follow what you're being advised by your industry experts on this. What I'm here to tell you is, you're in another position for people to choose you. Now, this isn't new to you, right? Because you've had to be, when you're a listing agent, people choose you for that and you sign a contract for that. But now you also need to be positioned, and you also need to show up as an expert buyer's agent, right? Which is something that you haven't really had to do before. It's game changing. And, it's shaking up the industry. And at the time that I'm recording this, it's a little bit like the wild, wild west, but here's the deal. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for you. If you position yourself correctly now, these changes can actually help you grow your business in ways that you never imagined. Because, if people are looking to sell their house, they're probably established in a town. They know a lot of the real estate agents in the town, and maybe they know you, right? But if they're looking to buy a house in a town that they don't currently live in, they can't really kind of shop around for a buyer's agent anymore, right? You need to kind of grab them out of the gate. And that comes from your personal brand. And that, my friends, is something I am qualified to talk to you about. And that's what we're going to be talking to you about here today. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit I just want to make sure I don't miss any of my notes, because I've got a lot of notes on this one today. We want to talk about why now is the time to do this? Why now is the time to do this? It's not just about LinkedIn and your LinkedIn profile, but the PR piece that we talk about on this show a lot. You need to do this so that you are building your authority so you can get that buyer's business, right? So while everybody else is kind of scrambling to figure out what to do, you need to be investing in your personal brand and the brand of a buyer's agent right now. It doesn't mean you're not still doing listings, right? It just means that you have to think about this right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about why LinkedIn is the most powerful platform for you to do this. You real estate agents, you guys, honestly, I love you all, but I know if I asked 10 of you, like, how valuable is your database to your business? Every single one of you is going to say, oh, it's hugely valuable. Well, LinkedIn is where you build your database, right? And not enough of you are using LinkedIn. So I'm here to change that. So we're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn, but we're also going to be talking about PR and how PR can help cement your position as the go-to expert during these like wild, wild west shifting times. You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of this, especially with the restrictions. But I think I mentioned this before. When there's change, there's opportunity. These new laws are pushing you to evolve. And that evolution means you need to shift from just being an agent, a listing agent, or a buyer's agent, to being a trusted advisor and a thought leader. You're no longer just like a middle person that helps somebody buy a home, right? You're somebody that understands this landscape better than anyone else and can guide your clients through the complexities of this new market. That's where this comes in. It's pushing agents to think outside the box, to think a little bit differently, and to rely a little bit less on the old methods of doing business, like relying solely on your database, right? And building new credible ways to market yourself as a high value buyer's consultant or agent, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that. And here's the first place that this is important. This is being recorded. It is September 2024. The law's been in effect for a couple of weeks. I have talked to a couple of people about this, not in the industry. Somebody in my family that is purchasing a house or looking to purchase a house, and they had no idea this was happening. They said, well, they just go to open houses when they see a house they want. I'm like, yeah, but they now have to change this. Now have to choose a buyer's agent so that they are represented, and they have to, and how that buyer's agent gets paid. Again, don't quote on me on on what the law actually means, but it's changed, and they need to understand this. They said the answer to them, to me, the question to me from them was, how were we supposed to know this? I don't know. Right. Like, so yeah, if you're currently working with a real estate agent, or if you're a real estate agent currently working with people, I'm sure, telling them, but there are many, many millions of people in the United States that do not know this even went down. Right. So you need to be out there and visible and talking about this. And if you're the one out there talking about this, you're going to be the one that gets trusted with that credibility. And that's how you're going to attract some of this business in your neck of the woods. Okay. So, the first thing we're talking about a little bit is LinkedIn. Okay. Well, let me talk a little bit about LinkedIn and PR, why this is important to you. The LinkedIn piece of this is so that you establish yourself, right? So let's say somebody comes across you, or somebody goes and searches for, real estate agent in a particular town or community or whatever. You want to make sure your profile is created in a way that those words are being used over and over and over, so that you are getting that's their keywords for you. So that when people put those words in the search engine, your profile comes up. And even if they just put it in Google, it still can bring up your LinkedIn profile if you put those words in the right place. Okay. So it isn't just about having a pretty profile. It's about having a pretty profile, and behind that pretty profile, and behind that profile that positions you as an influencer, you have the strategies of knowing exactly where to put those keywords, because people are now going to be searching for this. Okay, so you want to show up confidently, you want to show up with personality, and you want to show up with authority. Because the PR piece of this is where I think you need to focus right now. The visibility around this, pitching local media, pitching national media, talking about it on podcasts, talking about it, in newspapers and magazines, talking about it in your community, going to your community library maybe and talking about this and showing up as an expert. Because what's going to happen then, you're going to hand them your business card, right? And hopefully your business card will have your URL on there, but it should also have your website, right? But it should also have your LinkedIn URL there, because that's where you can stand out from the crowd. Everybody's got a pretty website, right? All your competitors have a website, whether it's with their broker or on their own, however. I know it's done a bunch of different ways. Where you need to stand out is you're showing up as the expert. So on your LinkedIn profile, you can also position yourself as a speaker, an expert speaker on the topic of buyer's agents. Okay. You can be doing that today. You should be doing that today, and pitching yourself to, again, all the places I mentioned earlier. Because when people hear you about that and see you about that, and then they go to look you up, now they're going to see your LinkedIn profile. And this is where they come together. The LinkedIn profile is how they're going to connect with you. They're going to see not only are you a real estate agent, but you're an expert in this new changed market. Okay. This is how you get into the right conversations around this, whether it's on social media, in the local news or national publications. You need to show up as an expert on these new laws, and LinkedIn and PR gives you the platform to share that expertise out with the world. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of LinkedIn techniques here. First thing you need to think about is your headline. And I would absolutely change your headline today to reflect this new real estate landscape. Don't just say you're a real estate agent, right? Say something like you're a buyer's consultant specializing in navigating the new real estate laws, right? This not only positions you as an expert, but also shows that you're on top of the current industry shifts and that you're paying attention, right? They can be confident that they are comfortable investing in you and signing a contract with you, which is what we want, right? You want to have consistent content out there that educates about this. Start posting content that helps your network understand the impact of these new laws. I can't tell you enough how important it is that you're out there talking about these laws, because it's not the clients you have that you need to reach. It's the people that have no idea this is happening. And then I'm hearing horror stories like they're signing contracts for a year with people they don't even really know because they didn't know that's what they were doing, right? You need to be out there talking about this so that people are, number one, not getting themselves in situations that they didn't even realize they were getting themselves into. But number two, they can confidently sign those contracts with you. And that comes down to articles or posts, right? Yes, we want to have that visibility, but the know, like, and trust comes from the content, right? Like, if people hear about me somewhere, right, they're going to listen, hopefully they're going to be, somebody will say, oh, you need to reach out to Karen Yankovich about your LinkedIn strategy. She really is great at helping women create wealth, building these things. But that's all well and good. But when they go to my podcast and then listen to a couple of episodes, that's where they then get the sense of, okay, this woman really does know what she's talking about. I have to give that to them. You have to give that to them. And that comes down to the kinds of content you're putting out there. I'd be connecting with key referral partners, offer to do workshops for all of the, mortgage brokers, financial planners, attorneys, other professionals that can refer you clients. Put this workshop together right now. Even if you need to go into ChatGPT and spend down 2 hours in there saying, help me craft an educational workshop for around buyers agents for my partners. And then, because you need to make sure that your network understands that you are the expert on how to navigate this new world, right? This is your opportunity right here, right now. Okay. Engage with other people's content, spend some time on LinkedIn, look up who's talking about these things right now and jump into those conversations. I can tell you that when people say, what one thing should I be doing on LinkedIn if I have 10 minutes a day? It isn't posting as much as it is jumping into other people's conversations, because not only does your network see that, their networks see that, right? And it gets you gets you more visibility, gets you in front of not only your network, but their network, but it also gets you, again, it's contributing to your role as an authority in this world. And then I'd be writing LinkedIn articles about this, right? Your entire network gets an opportunity to see your LinkedIn articles, right? Create a LinkedIn newsletter, maybe specifically about this. You want to be putting consistent content out there, and you want to show up like you're worthy of this. And you can talk about this in some videos. Maybe create a video about this and put it in your featured section on LinkedIn, right? The opportunity to be this expert is now, okay? It's now. So let's talk about, why do I think PR is important too? Well, with these new laws, the media should be all over this story. I have to tell you, I haven't seen a lot about it. So I'm surprised a little bit about that. And maybe it's because September 2024, there's a lot of other things happening in the world right now. But I think that you want to, this is your chance to be that expert. And I would be building relationships and reaching out to everyone that talks about real estate. And frankly, everybody that talks about even consumers and housing industry and any of those kinds of things, because they need experts. The media needs us more than we need them. When you get quoted in newspapers and magazines on these kinds of things, this PR gives you credibility in a way that nothing else does, right? I mean, you can, I know that I love when you have great testimonials on these, as your work as a realtor, right? But again, we don't really know if it's your sister, right? Or your uncle or whatever, right? Being quoted in a local or national publication instantly makes you the go-to authority here. Okay. So quickly, you first of all, you need the LinkedIn profile gives you the credibility to show that you're worthy of this. Because one thing that journalists, that yes, they want us and they need us, but they're also wary of us, right? They need to know that they're not bringing crazy people in front of their audience, right? So you need to use your LinkedIn profile and some of your content to make it very clear what your position is on this market and how you show up, so that they can feel confident that they're putting smart, successful people that align with their values in front of their audience. And you can start pitching yourself to local media. There's so many ways to do this. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we wrap this up a little bit. But you can use your LinkedIn posts and articles as proof that you're already talking about this, right? And what valuable insights you have to share, right? Think about, like, what podcasts are your audience listening to? It doesn't have to be a real estate podcast per se. It could be a local news podcast. What you need to be doing is connecting with the hosts of those shows, and then, maybe listening to a show or two, make sure they actually accept guests, and then say, hey, you know what? I haven't seen you talk about this yet. And I think this is something that your audience is really going to want to hear about, because I can't believe how many people don't even know this happened in the last couple of weeks, right? So, being a guest on local or industry podcasts, talking about these new laws, puts you in front of that highly targeted audience that's interested in your expertise. And again, you're not looking for every single listener, but they're going to say, wow, everybody knows somebody that's buying or selling a house, right? So they're going to hear you. They're going to hear this podcast. Even if they're not looking, they're going to say, I heard this person on the show the other day. And did you know, like when I called my sister about my niece, and again, did you know that this law? And she's like, I had no idea. How was I supposed to know that? Right. This is happening everywhere. So you've got to be out in front of this and be in front of your audience, showing up as that thought leader. Okay. So that you can get these opportunities, because I'm telling you, the business opportunities here, you can you see them? Can you see them? I can see them. I can see how when you show up as that trusted authority, it can explode your business. It can explode your business. All right. So hopefully I've at least inspired you to think about LinkedIn, using LinkedIn and PR around the new laws. So you want to create, in the next couple of months, you want to create a LinkedIn content plan. You want to create an outreach plan for the media. You want to do research. Who should I be doing outreach to? Who should I be talking to? You want to maybe create a workshop and then use LinkedIn, because again, that's where you have credibility, right? You can email, text, do all those things to the local libraries and things like that. But when you're doing it from your LinkedIn profile, you're doing it with the credibility of your LinkedIn profile, which gives them so much more confidence that you're worthy of putting in front of their people. So create a webinar or a workshop and put it in front of all your local audiences. You don't need to get in front of the real estate audiences. You need to get in front of the other audiences, people that don't even know this is happening. Because I promise you, they all know somebody that's going to be buying a house. Maybe this is a little bit the long game, right? But there's definitely a short game here too. And then collaborate with other experts, right? Teaming up with mortgage brokers and financial planners, title companies, all those kinds of things. Maybe interview them, maybe do LinkedIn Lives and interview them, right? This is how you start to show up as this expert. Of course, it is important that you've done the work on your profile. It's important that you're starting to build your PR presence. And it's important that you're consistent with this, because, one of the things, like a lot of the people that I work with, and this may or may not apply to you, but one of the things that is often the case with a lot of people I work with is they're in some kind of transition, right? Maybe they were in corporate and they're moving to become a real estate agent, or they're in corporate and they're becoming a consultant, or, that maybe they're just looking to level up in their income. They may never have used the title consultant before. You probably have never used the title buyer's agent before, right? So you might not have a lot of testimonials about that, because you certainly haven't been doing this yet, right? So what the publicity does, what the PR does, is it gives you that credibility. I can confidently say to you right now, throw my name in a Google search, 10 pages of Karen Yankovich articles are going to come up. That's what I want for you. And that happens when you put this PR plan in place. Okay. That's when this happens for you. That's when you're able to use that as credibility, because you don't have those actual testimonials around this yet. Does that make sense? So while these new laws might feel like a little bit of a disruption, they are your opportunity. They're your opportunity to redefine your role as a real estate agent. And, I've had conversations with a bunch of real estate agents about this, because for me, I'm like, this is it. This is your high ticket offer. Because if you've listened to the show before, you know that what I like to focus on is, I like to say, we're flipping the funnel, right? We're not going after the $10 times a million. We're going after the $25,000, right? Times one, times and the next, and the next, and the next. And I look at this buyer's agent thing as equivalent to that high ticket offer. Okay. And I know you've been working like this in the past, because typically, certainly here in New Jersey, the prices of houses are high. So the commissions to real estate agents are high, and kudos for that. I want there to be more wealthy women in the world. And hopefully this is going to help you become a wealthier woman, right? Or a wealthy woman. But it's not just about the strategies. It's also about the mindset around it, right? The mindset around it, and thinking about yourself as an influencer, thinking about yourself as a thought leader, right, in this world and thinking about yourself as somebody worthy of creating these high ticket opportunities and getting 10, 20, 30, $50,000 paydays as a buyer's agent. Okay. If when you're using LinkedIn and PR together to position you as this thought leader, this is when you attract more clients, you build these stronger relationships, and you are standing out and thriving in this crazy, wild, wild west shifting market. So I've got a couple things for you here. Okay. I'm not done with you here. This podcast is really meant to just kind of inspire you to know, to understand that this is an opportunity for you. And I'm always here to support you, but I've also created something for you. I've created a secret podcast where I get to dive into these topics a little deeper. Okay. All of these different things we talk about today. I've created a secret podcast and you'll get, it's just set up like a regular podcast, but it's just not public to the world. I only want people to be listening to this that have a reason to want to understand these techniques. Okay. So not only though, are you going to be getting some strategy on the secret podcast, because mindset is such a big part of everything I do, as you're shifting from what you used to be to what you're stepping into. And as you're shifting your mindset around, I'm a real estate agent to I'm a thought leader with high ticket offers. There's some mindset stuff with it. So I've also included in this secret podcast some visualizations that you can listen to help you with the mindset piece of this so you can step into this powerfully and confidently and just have so much fun with this. So if you go to KarenYankovich.com/buyer's agent, you'll find a link. You just have to subscribe to it and then you'll get a link to be able to listen to this secret podcast. I would love for you to take a listen to this because it's where I'm able to go a little deeper than I feel like I can go on this podcast itself. So it's a series of multiple episodes, just one after another, talking about how you can build this presence out for yourself. Okay. So check that out. KarenYankovich.com/buyer's agent. I would love for you to check that out. And if this episode was of value to you, what I would love for you to do, I do all of this to support you. What you can do for me in return is take a quick screenshot of this, share it on your network, and tell all your real estate agent friends to listen. Okay. Tag me so I can see it. So then I can share it with my audience and then we all get more visibility that way, right? That's how we lift each other up. But if you can share this episode with your networks of real estate agent friends, that would help me and allows me to be able to do more of this stuff that I'm able to do for you, like create these free resources for you. So that is it for today, my friends. I hope that this was valuable. I am excited about the opportunity that's in front of you. And until next time, stay confident, stay visible, and keep making those powerful connections.